Hello everyone, and welcome to this month's episode of What's for Dinner. On this month's episode, I'll be making a submitted recipe that was given to me by a friend of mine on Twitter for a double crunch honey garlic chicken. This was submitted by my friend Claire on Twitter, so thank you Claire for the recipe. Now, let's get cooking. Okay, so I'm pretty sure you can tell that from the title of this recipe, or the type of recipe that this is, that there's breading involved. And if you've watched any of my previous What's for Dinner episodes that involve breading, you know my opinions on it. I don't particularly like it very much because of several reasons. One, no matter how I try to bread something, it usually never comes out the way that I watched it in the video or the way that it seems to come out for the people who make it professionally. And it creates a lot of waste, and I don't like throwing food away. So we're going to try it. The first thing we got to do is I have two chicken breasts here. We're going to cut these in half horizontally. Alternatively, you can put them between pieces of plastic and hit them with a saucepan, which sounds like a lot of fun. And trust me, I've done that when I've made chicken before, but I don't feel like doing that right now. So we're just going to cut them in half all the way through. We're not butterflying them like I did in a previous video. The idea is you want to have very thin pieces of chicken. Now, I'm only making a half version, well technically a full version, because the recipe states, and I'll put a link to the recipe in the description, the recipe states that every ingredient in terms of making the chicken and the breading has been doubled. So I'm taking half of everything that's written in the recipe because I'm just making for myself. Now the idea also is that when you cut these in half or you make them thinner, when they fry on the stove, they don't take as long to cook. So here's our 4 pieces of chicken. Okay, chicken's in the fridge. I'm going to move this over here. I don't think I'll need this again, but just in case, I'll just set it here. Okay, now we're going to take some flour. I have a cup of flour right here. We're going to load this up with a bunch of spices. I had my sifter here because the idea is you want to sift the ingredients, well, sift the spices, that is, into here. Okay, first is 2 teaspoons of salt. I'm just going to generously... That's good. I don't like a lot of salt. And then next is some pepper. Same thing, we'll just... That's pretty good. Okay, we need 1 tablespoon and then 1 teaspoon of ground ginger. I don't work with ginger all that often. Okay, that's our ground ginger. Okay, teaspoon of nutmeg. Remember, if you're looking at the recipe, I'm halving everything. So the recipe actually says a tablespoon. I'm putting in a teaspoon. Okay, a teaspoon of thyme. And a teaspoon of sage. I've never worked with sage before, so I don't know really what it is. What's it smell like? Ooh, interesting. Well, I think I've worked with sage before. I think I have worked with this before, but I think it's been fresh sage. I don't think it's been ground sage. Okay, then a tablespoon of paprika. And a half teaspoon of cayenne pepper. I can't find my half teaspoon. There it is. So, I'm just going to do a little dash of it. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take our spices, flour, I'm going to pour it into my sifter here. We're going to sift it into this bowl. Oh, hello. That is oddly satisfying to watch. I'm not kidding. Like, this is really fun to watch. I will say, the one thing that I have learned from doing these videos more often is sifting dry ingredients makes them work a ton easier. Alright, I'm just trying to make sure all this is incorporated. It looks like the paprika wasn't incorporated as evenly. Okay, I think that'll do. Alright, now the next thing we need to do is make an egg wash. So I'm going to set that over here. Okay, so, again, recipe says 4 eggs. Because I want to make sure we don't waste, I'm only going to use 2. We're just going to make a simple egg wash. 2 eggs, and 4 tablespoons of water. 1, 2, 3, 4. Whisk it. There's our egg wash. Fabulous. Let's get the chicken out and get a second plate. All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get some breading done. Okay, first thing before you start the breading, you want to season with salt and pepper. We'll do the pepper first. Just gonna throw it on there. There's pepper and salt in this chicken shake anyway, so that, flip them over. Okay, so we're gonna do flour, egg, flour. Let's do it. First one, flour, egg, and then flour again. There's one. Next one. Any professional chefs watching, please tell me why when I watch videos of people doing this, I never see their fingers get like this. What is the secret? Someone please tell me. There has to be a secret out there somewhere that I don't know about. Okay, I've readjusted angles here because now we're going to focus up here on the stove. In this pan, we're going to make the honey garlic sauce. This is the pan that's going to fry the chicken. The chicken frying is not going to take long, but we got to make the honey garlic sauce first. So for starters, I have some olive oil. This did not need to be here. This is the front. Canola oil is what needs to fry, so we're going to put that over here. I need 2 tablespoons of olive oil. And then we're going to need 2 tablespoons, or 2 cloves, I'm sorry, of minced garlic. 2 cloves is about a full teaspoon, so, and that's going to go. And basically what you want to do is just get the garlic a little soft. So we're going to put this on medium heat. Okay, again, as I said, you don't want to brown the garlic. You just want to get it soft, and it looks like it's about there. So the next thing you want to add is a cup of honey, which is what this is right here, a cup of honey. Okay, then you're going to add a 1/4 cup of soy sauce. Low sodium soy sauce, might I add. And then the equivalent of about a teaspoon of black pepper. That was maybe a little bit much, but that's okay. All right, now you're just going to let this simmer for about 5 to 10 minutes. You want to make sure that it doesn't boil and froth up over the pan here. So I'm going to keep it at medium for now. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to get my canola oil. You want to fill this pan so there's about 1/2 inch or so of oil in the bottom. I wonder how much of this that's going to be. That looks pretty good. And the chicken breasts I have are pretty small, so hopefully this will be enough. Okay, I turned down the heat on the sauce here a bit. I don't know if this is supposed to get thick or not. It's very liquidy. We'll let it simmer for a bit longer here. Let me turn up a bit. Okay, I'm going to start this oil here. Let me get my chicken out. Now, when you're putting the chicken in, or starting at least the frying process, you don't want to turn it all the way up to high. Not a good idea. The recipe suggests 4.5 setting if you have like numbers, so I'm assuming if I think my medium here is a 5, I'm going to put it right between the medium and that first dash right there. Now the other thing is, what do you serve this with? Well, the recipe suggests noodles. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some spaghetti noodles on the back burner there and get those cooking while we work on getting the chicken fried and the sauce, well, the garlic sauce that is, thickened and cooked here. Okay, this honey garlic sauce is really starting to froth up a bit, so I'm going to turn it off. And I'm going to set it off screen to let it cool, because once the chicken is done frying and cooled off over here on this wire rack, we're going to dip the chicken in this sauce. Honey garlic sauce is complete. Now all we're doing is waiting for this oil to do something.
A few minutes later.
Still just waiting on this oil here. Got my spaghetti going in the back here. Oil's rippling a bit more than it was earlier. Okay, I'm going to try something. I'm going to take one of this piece of chicken. We're going to try to fry it. Let's see what happens. it's cooking. Okay, putting that piece of chicken in there really started making the oil work now. Let's put another one in. Got room to put all of these in. I probably didn't wait long enough, but I'm hungry. Recipe says 4 to 5 minutes browning on either side. It's going a little slower than I expected. So, all right, I'm going to flip this one on the back. Now the thing I've never quite gotten with these things, at least I've never gotten quite right, maybe once, was the crispy factor. This looked like mush when I put them in here a moment ago. Now granted, I had to wait for the oil to heat up, I had to make the sauce and whatnot, so maybe had I not done that, it would be crispy. I don't know. I mean, it seems crispy-ish. Okay, now that I'm doing this, I'm actually feeling some crispiness to this, and I'm actually seeing some crispiness to this as well. Okay, now this is looking like the frying that I was expecting. Turn down the noodles here. They're looking good. Okay, I'm gonna flip this one. I might flip them all one more time, just to make sure that they're done on either side. They weren't particularly big pieces of chicken, so I don't think they're going to take that long to cook. Okay, so once these are done, which they are, the oil has finally started to roll again. We're going to set them on the wire rack to drain and to cool. I'll then move the honey garlic sauce over to here. We'll run them through that, plate them up with the noodles, and we'll try them. All right, we're going to turn the heat off, and we'll carefully, there. Last one. I'll let these drain and sit for about 2 to 3 minutes or so. I'm going to bring the honey garlic sauce over here then, and as I said a moment ago, we'll dredge them through there and then try it on camera. Alright, it's been about 2 minutes or so. We're going to go ahead and I'm going to put some noodles on this plate. I don't know why it said noodles, but it said noodles or rice, if I remember correctly. So I'll put some noodles on here. All right, let's dredge. How do I want to do this here? With the tongs. Take this one. The top. And we'll take one back. We'll take two. That on there, and I think that's about it. All right, this looks good, honestly. I hope it tastes as good as I think it does. Alrighty, chicken. Chicken looks good. Some spaghetti. Piece of chicken. It's cooked thoroughly. Here we go. That is good. That is really good. It actually, believe it or not, has a bit of a crunch to it. Another rousing success. Wonderful. Well, thank you all for watching this episode of What's for Dinner. If you have any recipes that you would like me to make on camera, leave them below in comments and I'll check them out. Thank you again to my friend Claire. You can go follow her on Twitter. I'll leave her @ if she wants me to. I'll make sure to check with her to make sure she wants me to put her public Twitter up here. But anyway, thank you, Claire, for suggesting this recipe. It was fun to make. Even though I don't really like breading all that much, it turned out pretty good. So again, thank you all for watching. Take care. God bless. I'll see you next time.